sweetheart. It's Ramu Meiji AG time. With Jinxie and Soon. Toei. Trying to find out what's happening with Time Meiji AG. I'm wondering what would happen to Time Meiji if I didn't go confront this guy, if I would just lose him as a party member. I'm wondering if that means that the other party member is Templar specific, or if there's something going on. Loading age. Where were we? This is the Red Cliff dungeon. But there's like red lyrium everywhere.
Alexius has made a dreadful mess of this place, hasn't he?
I didn't see this part of the castle.
It was covered in the tackiest carvings of wolves and dogs I'd ever seen. This is not an improvement.
Okay, so that was a dead end. I wonder who the Elder One that those guys are serving are. It's probably an archdemon or something, I don't know. There's no dark spot. Hello.
Andraste blessed me, Andraste blessed me. My tears are my sins, my sins, my sins. Andraste guide me, Andraste guide me.
Lisas. Hello? Do you remember me?
Andraste blessed me, Andraste blessed me.
What the hell? This is Jalen's. Venatori. This is probably the future.
One down!
So this is the ones who are serving the old one. Fiona.
You're alive. I saw you disappear into the rift.
I don't understand. What's happened to you?
Red lyrium. It's a disease. The longer you're near it, eventually you become this. Then they mine your corpse for more.
Can you tell us the date? It's very important.
Harvest Mir. 942 Dragon.
942? Then we've missed an entire year.
We have to get out of here. Go back in time.
Please, stop this from happening. Alexius serves the Elder One, more powerful than the Maker. No one challenges him and lives.
I promise I will do everything in my power to set things right.
Our only hope is to find the amulet that Alexius used to send us here. If it still exists, I can use it to reopen the rift at the exact spot we left. Maybe.
Good.
I said, maybe. It might also turn us into paste.
You must try. Your spy master, Leliana. She is here. Find her. Quickly. Before the Elder One learns you're here.
So the red lyrium is directly linked to the Elder One. Interesting.
If red lyrium is an infection, Maker, why is it coming out of the walls?
Are you sure you want to find out?
300 bottles of beer on the wall.
Oh.
300 bottles of beer. Take one down, pass it around. Ugh. You're not dead. You're supposed to be dead. There was a burn on the ground and everything.
Alexius didn't kill us. His spell sent us through time. This is our future.
Well, it's my present, and in my past, I definitely saw you both die.
Are you all right? You don't look so good.
Red lyrium. If I'm lucky, it'll kill me. If not, I'm hoping I die fighting.
You're dying.
No, he's not. If we find Alexius, we go back and none of this will happen. Remember?
Alexius isn't the one you need to worry about. It's his Elder One. He killed the Empress of Orlais and used the confusion to launch an invasion of the South. The army was all demons. You ever fought a demon army? I don't recommend it.
I'm sorry I wasn't here to help.
Demon army. Shit, you were lucky you died early. Let's move. No time like the present.
Which story about the Maker? Fiona just said that the Elder One seems to be more powerful than the Maker. So it means Blackwall's here too. I brought the right party members.
I hear you.
Andraste, have mercy. You shouldn't be here. The dead should rest in peace.
Are you all right? You don't look so good.
Am I dreaming this? The dead asking a dead man if he's all right.
You skipped over too much. Look at the poor man. Alexius's spell didn't kill us. It sent us forward in time. That's how we survived.
Forward in time. I don't understand.
If we get to Alexius, we can go back to the moment we left and stop all of this from happening.
Maybe I've just gone mad. If what you say is true, then this... everything I've been through, everything about this nightmare, is a mistake.
I should have been here, but we'll set things right.
Now I know I've gone mad. To set all this right. If we make Alexius pay for his crimes, that's enough for me. From what I've heard the guards say, Alexius never leaves the throne room these days.
Yeah, it'd be risky if it was the Maker. That would also be really awkward.
Feels good to be fighting again.
Nice to be doing anything at all. I'm enjoying it while it lasts.
Prayer to the new god. Praise his name was risen from the darkness. Praise his name was striven for the light. Praise his name was walked the golden city. Praise his name. The old gods are no more. The Maker never was. The new god is among us. Praise his name. If I'm not mistaken, the Golden City is where the Maker is from, and it was Tevinter's intrusion on that city that caused the blights. It's possible that their god is one of the original blasphemers. Because they couldn't kill them, I don't think. They just sealed them away like they did with Corypheus in 2. So it might be one of them. That would be why they care about Tevinter and putting Tevinter back in power. Ooh, new staff for Dyrus. Whatever it is, Dorian. Dyrus. Can Iron Bull use a two-handed weapon now? We can also level up. Need to respec Bull when I get a chance. Now that I have a true tank. A guard's journal. Alexius keeps asking for patrols of the walls. Waste of time if you ask me. The Inquisition ground themselves to a pulp against the walls ages ago. Ferelden made 3 attempts to lay siege here before the last life got crushed out of them. Who's left out there to threaten us? The mountain barbarians, but Alexius seems to expect a siege. Man's gone completely mad. Better put the men on watch inside the walls. More of those blasted rifts open every day. It's better when we still have the people for blood sacrifices. Unbound demons have emptied the castle, village, and surrounding countryside of everyone who's not sleeping in their armor. And also just wild demons everywhere. Okay. So this is like an apocalypse situation. And full inventory.
his and will soon rule from his city.
So the Elder One is trying to use this world as a base to beat the Maker?
Military, to arms! And done.
Who's this guy? Why is he not aggroing me? Well.
Oh, Mother. Where was your maker when you needed him most?
I need dagger. Defender. Nah.
How did Trevelyan know the sacrifice in the temple? Answer!
Never.
There's no use to this defiance, little bird. There's no one left for you to protect.
You're wasting your breath.
You will break.
I will die first. Or you will. You're alive. You're safe now. Forget safe. If you came back from the dead, you need to do better than safe. You need to end this. Do you have weapons? Good. The Magister's probably in his chambers.
You aren't curious how we got here?
No.
Alexius sent us into the future. This, his victory, his Elder One, it was never meant to be.
I'm so sorry for everything you suffered.
We have to reverse his spell. If we can get back to our present time, we can prevent this future from ever happening.
And mages always wonder why people fear them. No one should have this power.
It's dangerous and unpredictable. Before the breach, nothing we did.
Enough. This is all pretend to you. Some future you hope will never exist. I suffered. The whole world suffered. It was real.
What happened while we were away?
Stop talking.
I'm just asking for information.
No, you're talking to fill silence. Nothing happened that you want to hear.
What the fuck?
We need to find Alexius. I'm sure he'll be in the nightmare part of the castle, if there is one.
The Magister needs more power for his rituals.
No!
Come forth and
Why does everything they do with magic have to be so creepy?
That's not a good sign. Boss fight coming.
The breach, it's...
Everywhere.
Shit! You can fit a lot of demons through that thing.
Wondering if the green rifts and the red lyrium are opposed to one another. Every failed time spell, the Magister grows a bit more paranoid, or perhaps not paranoia, since the Elder One really will kill him for his failures. The distinction hardly matters. After the 10th failure, he began locking himself in the Great Hall during his waking hours. After the 20th, he had the foot soldiers excavate a shard doorway from parts unknown, and painstakingly install it in the castle. Now his most trusted assistants can only see him if we all go at once together, which he must do twice a day to bring him his meals, as he never leaves that room at all. Interesting. So why is he trying to alter time further? What does the old one want him to do? Alexius's journal, final entry, nothing works. I've tried countless times to go back before the Conclave explosion, before Felix's caravan was attacked by Darkspawn, before the Venatori first arrived in Minrathous, without success. The breach is the wellspring that makes this magic possible, and travel outside of its timeline is impossible. The Elder Ones demand that I can change the events of the Conclave, and never be fulfilled. He may kill me for failing him, but I must protect Felix from his wrath. Okay, so we have a motive. I wonder if Felix is tainted by the Darkspawn. That's why the illness thing is a thing. Should make him a Grey Warden. So he's trying to go back in time. Okay, so the breach is not related to his magic. It's just empowering it, making the time travel possible, which means that he can't go back before the breach happened. But the old god wants him to go back before the breach for some reason. Interesting. So he's not responsible for the Conclave at all. But why does the old one want him to alter something before the Conclave? Is it because of me? I was already in this room.
What became of Felix? Do you know?
Yes, I know.
And you're not going to tell me?
You'll find out soon enough.
Became a Darkspawn. Red dots in his... Fighting. We're fighting something. What are they fighting? Oh, they're fighting a rift.
What in Andraste's name is that? Hold on to it. I want to look at it later.
The main hall is that way. I'm sure that's where Alexius is hiding.
I want a Mobari totem. I'll drop something for that. What am I looking for? little statue of a Mabari. This is just right. Map. How do I get there?
Cover the stairs!
No, I ate the pie.
They're distracted, worshipping their Elder One. Take them down before they see us.
Damage did Alexius' spell do?
Rifts tore apart all of southern Thedas, starting here. But whether that's his doing or the breach, who can say?
Studies of the Blight. Interesting. So they've been using Leliana as a blight resistant, like, experiment, probably to try to cure Felix. Hi, Angel.
They're right there. Perhaps we should try to find another way in.
Nope.
Sorry for interrupting your dinner.
Swag mage.
What happened here?
Somebody had very questionable taste. Try to take out that enchanter quickly.
Lock the stairs!
Anybody mind if I take some souvenirs? Maybe just a couple of those pronged helmets.
Let's head back to the main hall. I think I know how we'll open that door.
I didn't even know the door was locked. I was just going around looting the place. Ooh, serrated carbine blade. Whoever put loot and jump on the same button was a goddamn moron. Ah, so I see. It's like the blue shards. This is just a red shard gate.
Look at what you've done, Alexius. All this suffering. And for what?
For my country, for my son. But it means nothing now. I knew you would appear again. Not that it would be now, but I knew I hadn't destroyed you. My final failure.
Was it worth it? Everything you did to the world, to yourself.
It doesn't matter now. All we can do is wait for the end.
What do you mean? What's ending?
The irony that you should appear now, of all the possibilities. All that I fought for, all that I betrayed, and what have I wrought? Ruin and death, there is nothing else. The Elder One comes for me, for you, for us all. Felix.
That's Felix. Maker's breath, Alexius, what have you done?
He would have died, Dorian. I saved him. Please, don't hurt my son. I'll do anything you ask.
Hand over the amulet and we let him go.
Let him go and I swear you'll get what you want.
I want the world back.
No.
Where are your assassins this time? Impossible! Tell me again how you... He wanted to die, didn't he? All those lies he told himself, the justifications. He lost Felix long ago. Didn't even notice. Oh, Alexius.
I know you cared for him.
Once he was a man to whom I compared all others. Sad, isn't it? This is the same amulet he used before. I think it's the same one we made in Minrathous. That's a relief. Give me an hour to work out the spell he used, and I should be able to reopen the rift.
An hour? That's impossible! You must go now! The Elder One.
There's a reason they won.
We'll head out front. Keep them off your tail.
I can't let you kill yourself for me. There must be another way.
Look at us. We're already dead. The only way we live is if this day never comes. Cast your spell. You have as much time as I have hours. Though darkness closes, I am shielded by flame. Andraste, guide me. Maker, take me to your side.
You move, and we all die! You'll have to do better than that.
Put aside all claim to Redcliffe and we let you live.
You won. There is no point extending this charade.
Felix. It's going to be all right, Father.
You'll die.
Everyone dies.
Well, I'm glad that's over with. Or not.
Grand Enchanter, imagine how surprised I was to learn you'd given Redcliffe Castle away to a Tevinter Magister.
King Alistair.
Especially since I'm fairly sure Redcliffe belongs to Arl Tegan.
Your Majesty, we never intended...
I know what you intended. I wanted to help you. But you've made it impossible. You and your followers are no longer welcome in Ferelden.
But we have hundreds who need protection. Where will we go?
The Inquisition might be willing to take in the mages.
And what are the terms of this arrangement?
Hopefully better than what Alexius gave you. The Inquisition is better than that, yes?
No one fights well for their captors.
It seems we have little choice but to accept whatever you offer.
You're our prisoners, or you're our allies.
We would be honored to have you fight as allies at the Inquisition's side.
A generous offer. But will the rest of the Inquisition honor it?
The breach threatens all of Thedas. We cannot afford to be divided now. We can't fight it without you. Any chance of success requires your full support.
I'd take that offer if I were you. One way or another, you're leaving my kingdom.
We accept. It would be madness not to. I will gather my people and ready them for the journey to Haven. The breach will be closed. You will not regret giving us this chance.
Holy shit. Alistair, though. Ooh, this game is doing a thing. I wonder who shows up if Alistair's not king. That resolved it really nicely.
It's not a matter for debate. There will be abominations among the mages, and we must be prepared.
If we rescind the offer of an alliance, it makes the Inquisition appear incompetent at best, tyrannical at worst.
What were you thinking, turning mages loose with no oversight? The veil is torn open.
They're not monsters. They're people, and they deserve the same respect as anyone else.
This is not about respect. Even the strongest mages can be overcome by demons in conditions like these.
Enough arguing. None of us were there. We cannot afford to second-guess our people. The sole point of the Herald's mission was to gain the mage's aid, and that was accomplished.
The voice of pragmatism speaks. And here I was, just starting to enjoy the circular arguments.
Closing the breach is all that matters.
I got a taste of the consequences if we fail. Let's make sure we don't.
We will not fail.
We should look into the things you saw in this dark future. The assassination of Empress Celine. A demon army.
Sounds like something a Tevinter cult might do. Orlais falls, the Imperium rises. Chaos for everyone.
One battle at a time. It's going to take time to organize our troops and the mage recruits. Let's take this to the war room. Join us. None of this means anything without your mark, after all.
Thank you. I'd be honored to help with the plan.
Meet us there when you're ready.
I'll skip the War Council, but I would like to see this breach up close, if you don't mind.
Then you're staying?
Oh, didn't I mention? The South is so charming and rustic. I adore it to little pieces.
Oh wow, I can refuse him. That would suck.
There's no one I'd rather be stranded in time with, future or present.
Excellent choice. But let's not get stranded again anytime soon, yes?
I'll begin preparations to march on the summit. Make her willing, the mages will be enough to grant us victory.
Okay, War Council. Oh, Vivian, what do you have to say about all this?
If Fiona and her malcontents are joining us as allies, we need to be prepared. Abominations are inevitable. Cullen doesn't have enough Templars to handle incidents. Some of the rank and file need to be trained.
She does have a point. It would be absolutely ridiculous to not have a few mini Templars running around.
Train our people, but keep it a secret. Let the mages think they're not being watched.
I like the way you think, darling. I'll have a word with Cullen. We are reliant on his people, absolutely. There has never been a greater threat to mages than the breach. Until it is closed, no one is safe.
You have a low opinion of your fellow mages.
It's not so much an opinion as grasping the obvious. Magic is dangerous, just as fire is dangerous. Anyone who forgets this truth gets burned.
You're right, but Templars are a poor solution.
They are men, and all men are flawed. That some fail does not mean that none should try. The fact remains that there is no cure for an abomination except death. Someone must strike the killing blow. Who shall lower the blade if not a Templar? Tell me something. You told me that you'd see the Chantry restored. What about the Circle?
Mages shouldn't be kept out of the Chantry. Who knows the dangers of magic better than a mage?
A curious idea. Such twists and turns your mind takes. It's something to consider, my dear.
The Inquisition appreciates your assistance in this matter, Lady Corbin. And my miners appreciate your business. You'll have your lyrium by the end of the week. I should tell you, Ambassador, the Chantry raised some fuss when they learned about our arrangement. The Inquisition must certainly seem an audacious idea to the Grand Clerics. We hope to convince them it is a necessary one as well.
She's the married, yeah. West Wing.
I'll take my leave. Good day.
Who is she, Ambassador?
A merchant. I thought we should reach out to the dwarves to secure lyrium for the Inquisition's mages. According to Lady Corbin, it raised the ire of the Chantry.
How?
Access to lyrium makes us rather more formidable than anticipated. We're becoming a challenge. Sadly, the remaining Grand Clerics appear to be consolidating the Chantry's power, instead of comforting the masses.
The Chantry should be a place of hope, not another group scrambling for answers.
That must be its strength again. The Chants did much to bridge nations. Little but the Chantry ties Orlais, Nevarra, Ferelden, Antiva, and even Rivain to a common cause.
Has the Chantry truly promoted such peace?
Andraste's chant is familiar across kingdoms, a source of many shared customs. That is the crucial point. Common ground is the start of all negotiations.
I suppose a shared faith can be useful when talking with strangers.
Precisely. And these similar interests are merely where we begin. We must learn to think beyond our own wants to secure peace in Thedas.
How did someone so lovely and selfless go into Orlesian politics, Lady Montelier?
Well, that is, really, you give me too much credit. While you're here, I do have a question. The remaining Grand Clerics sent a missive inquiring about the events at the Temple of Sacred Ashes. They demand to know whether the Inquisition officially claims that Andraste saved you from the breach. If it were up to you, how would you reply?
Will my answer change your reply to the Chantry?
If Leliana, Cassandra Cullen, and I could agree on our official stance, I could answer that. We should decide soon. The revered mothers don't seem to know what to make of you.
I'd tell the Chantry that Andraste herself shielded me from harm.
I'd truly like to hear the debates that would raise in Val Royeaux. Thank you for your thoughts. A good day to you.
Chosen son. Yes, that is a good answer.
We can use that.
Follow us. before I do War Council, I want to talk to everyone
O
else.
Creator, see me kneel, for I walk only where you would bid me. Stand over you, please.
Don't need requisitions to turn in.
Mages.
No.
They should have this breach sealed soon enough.
I suppose their gold spent as well as anyone else's.
Your open support for the mages likely earned you enemies. Our agents will monitor the situation. If the most opposed can be identified, we may still turn this to our advantage.
You're not planning assassinations, are you?
I was planning to unleash Josephine on them. She kills with kindness. Regardless, I applaud you for the courage to stand up for the mages.
In Redcliffe, you sacrificed yourself so that I could return here.
Of course I did. One small life in exchange for a second chance at history. I always loved a bargain.
It was still a sacrifice, and still noble.
And I would do it again.
Anything I should know?
Artigan has returned to Redcliffe Castle and resumed his duties as Lord. The people are returning, slowly but surely.
Artigan?
Unfortunately, our show of support for the mages has angered many.
Anything I should know?
I've nothing to report at the moment.
I'll leave you to your work.
You ship West Wing? Okay. I guess Dorian's gonna be living as Solus.
So we have gained the mages. Excellent. They should be able to seal the breach. You are certain you experienced time travel. Could it have been an illusion? A trick of the Fade?
Dorian was sure. Impossible as it seems.
What an amazing gift. It is vital the Inquisition succeed to avoid the future you witnessed.
I'm surprised you're not more interested in your own future.
I know enough. If that future happened, then I, and Cassandra, Cullen and the rest, failed to stop this Elder One. Speaking of which, you should ready yourself.
For?
This Elder One. You have now interfered with his plans twice. Once at the Temple of Sacred Ashes, and now again at Redcliffe. A being who aspires to godhood is unlikely to ignore such an affront.
The Inquisition supports free mages. What's next? Elves running Halamsharal? Cows milking farmers?
I take it you don't agree.
On the contrary, I approve. Heartily. I do wonder if you've considered what this support of yours will do. For mages in general, I mean. The Inquisition is seen as an authority. You've given Southern mages license to, well, be like mages back home.
If that means they're anything like you, I approve.
Ha! There aren't many mages back home like me.
I'd believe that.
I never fit in. Bloodstains are so difficult to clean, you see.
So we're doomed to a future of blood magic then?
Not at first. But you'd be a fool not to see where this could lead. Thing is, the Imperium was once just like the South. Templars, proper circles, all that rot. Then it changed. By inches. Not that this is reason to oppress us. Still, my homeland should be a cautionary tale, not a source of inspiration.
It occurs to me that I barely know anything about you.
Beyond my being a mage from Tevinter, you mean?
Beyond that, yes.
And beyond my being so charming and well-dressed, which is obvious to anyone.
I'm well aware of your finer qualities. Believe me.
Of course you are. You're a discerning and intelligent woman, after all. Now, what was I talking about? Ah, yes, me. I am the scion of House Parvis, a product of generations of careful breeding and the repository of its hopes and dreams. Naturally, I despised it all. The lies, the scheming, the illusions of supremacy. That's Tevinter in a nutshell, isn't it? Needless to say, my family was not happy with my choices.
What did you mean by generations of careful breeding?
The great families of Tevinter don't have children. They refine traits, weed out the undesirable, and promote the rest. My mother was chosen for my father because magic runs strongly in her blood. Never mind that they loathed each other. They wanted a son who could become Archon to make House Parvis the envy of the Imperium. They got me. A cautionary tale that you should be careful what you wish for.
Why would your family be upset with your choices?
Because I rejected their idyllic plan. If they had their way, by now I'd be married to some unlucky girl from a powerful family. We'd live in luxurious despair, despising each other as I waited to take my father's place in the magisterium. I declined the honor, and thus it's best I'm far from home. Less of an embarrassment that way, you see?
I'm getting the impression that you don't care much for your homeland.
On the contrary, I care for my homeland a great deal. There's so much potential. Sadly, we squander it. We refuse to acknowledge how far we've fallen because pretending is easier. We pretend the Qunari can be beaten. We pretend that we're superior to everyone, even our own people. Not everyone feels that way. I don't. Sadly, we're the minority.
It just seems... So much of what you say about the Imperium is entirely negative.
It might sound that way. For all our faults, my people have many virtues. We are laden with history and culture. Tevinter is where Thedas truly began, remember? We treasure our past and preserve it. You can walk down a side street and find nothing built during the modern ages. And despite appearances, we care. Deeply. About everything. We have no reserve, not in war and not in love. If I truly believed my homeland was beyond all hope, I wouldn't miss it so much.
Why remain with the Inquisition? Why not go back to Tevinter?
I'm not exactly welcome back home. Not that it matters, I'm quite accustomed to being a pariah. It adds to my charm. I can do more for Tevinter here. If the Venatori succeed, it'll set my homeland back 1,000 years. I'm sure some magisters would disagree, but that's why we kill them.
I think I've heard enough.
That's too bad. I never tire of talking about myself.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium always seems quite fascinated by it. Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true, but the cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
There's an Imperial Chantry, isn't there? With its own divine.
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face, like you're urinating in public. But yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to yours.
Is the Imperial Chantry so different from ours?
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve man, not rule over him business. Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them, for the good of the Imperium. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in command.
There are circles of magi in the Imperium.
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're soldiers. They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce the Magisterium's edicts. The Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on the Sunburst throne is some backwater pretender. It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believes Andraste was a mortal woman, a mage. Down south they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker, ascended to his side, divine provenance, a blah blah blah. We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. Makes executing her less damning, you see. So we elected a man as divine, the South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
So, the Imperial Divine is always a man?
All the better to distinguish him from that other one, yes. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't they be divine after all? Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
The big question. It might surprise you that I do consider myself Andrastian. I simply do not believe in the Chantry. It is a relic, whether back home or here in the South. Something from a bygone age desperately clinging to relevance. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
I disagree. I don't think the Chantry's irrelevant.
Not to most, no. Perhaps just to me. I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
In me?
That the Maker sent you, whether through Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You are what we needed most at the moment we needed it. That's what they will say in ages to come.
That's true. I feel the same.
Aye, someone's full of themselves, aren't they?
I was just agreeing with you.
Don't agree on my account. A little doubt wouldn't harm the Herald of Andraste. Me? They've seen too much to believe I know everything. The world is bigger than I. Even bigger than you. It laughs at all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe. But I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening.
Let me ask you something else.
So many questions.
Anyone who talks about the Imperium mentions slavery. It's the center of the slave trade.
Ah. That is true.
And did you have slaves?
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well. Honestly, I never thought much about it until I came south. Back home, it's how it is. Slaves are everywhere. You don't question it. I'm not even certain many slaves do.
You think slaves like it that way? Don't be ridiculous.
I didn't say they like it. It's all most of them know. In the south, you have alienages, slums, both human and elven. The desperate have no way out. Back home, a poor man can sell himself. As a slave, he could have a position of respect, comfort, and could even support a family. Some slaves are treated poorly, it's true. But do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
Is that what you call it? Treated poorly?
Abuse heaped upon those without power isn't limited to Tevinter, my friend. I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. I never thought about it until I saw how different it was here. But I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe that every tale of Tevinter excess is the norm.
It seems strange that an entire empire would be ruled by mages.
I find it strange that your mages don't rule anything at all. Actually, the fiction in the Imperium is that mages don't rule. The Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the Magisterium, exactly?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part worth having a seat on. Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All mages now. It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
If you're not a Magister, then what are you called? No special title?
I'm an Altus, which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you ask.
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first prophets of the old gods. If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're Laetan, lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soperati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happens. Even so, he gets to appoint new Magisters, which means all the families vie madly for his favor. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to Tevinter influence, let me tell you.
If it's a fiction, that means mages do rule then.
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe you're even a slave. The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically, the potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen. More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origins. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
Being a quaestor isn't a good thing.
I imagine the average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
Let me ask you something else.
Of course.
Just how often is blood magic used there?
Oh, not at all.
Not at all.
That's what any Magister would tell you. They'd be convincingly offended by the notion, too. Of course, what people call blood magic here, and what we consider blood magic, are two different things.
What's considered actual blood magic in Tevinter?
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. Using your own blood or that of a willing participant, what's the harm? The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much power. And what if you need more? You always need more. That's where we get into sacrifices and demon summoning. None of that is done. Not officially. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. Real blood magic can give you an edge, a leg up against your opponents. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power, to put it bluntly.
You'd think the Templars would object.
I imagine they did, long ago. Once, their investigations might have been sincere. Then their balls were cut off. Too inconvenient. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. Most of them are probably innocent.
There must be some mages who oppose this.
Of course. I do. And I'm not entirely alone. Occasionally, there'll be a Magister who makes noise. And then the reform talk begins. All very patriotic. Meanwhile, that Magister will be quietly shunned. Chances are, surprise, it's learned he was a Maleficar all along. Most learn to keep quiet. Me? I enjoy the allure of pariahhood.
I'm wondering if the Imperium would be a useful ally.
I'd think you'd be more concerned whether or not they'd support the Venatori. They won't. At least, not officially. They'll disavow all knowledge of dangerous cultists. Secretly, many Magisters will rejoice in the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime, all the better.
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help. Surely it could use allies.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time ago. We've been fighting the Qunari for what, 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, "You've had it easy for far too long." Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry. Anathema so far as they're concerned.
We're not part of the Chantry. The Chantry opposed the Inquisition's formation.
You think that matters? Don't be silly. The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen. I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
That's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough.
Have you gone to see Alexius yet? He's in the cells.
Not yet, no. I saw him before they locked him up. He looked despondent, broken. Not the man I remember, nor the one I want to. I suppose the Inquisition will judge him eventually. I wonder if there's any chance they'll show him mercy. He hardly deserves it, but for Felix's sake. I can't help hoping there's something left of the man I once knew.
Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupt are they.
Well, that's mages all over. So many robes, I bet all of Ferelden lost their curtains. I'll just be the other side of Haven, just in case.
These mages are here to aid the Inquisition. Don't worry.
Sure, don't worry. Magic up there, magic down here. What's to worry about? I mean, yay, freedom. Great for them. Over there, away from me.
What do you think about the people who have gathered?
Again with your people. Right, which ones?
What about Dorians?
He's fun. Could lose a bit more to Vinta.
We'll talk later.
Good, right? I'll be here.
Got the door again, Flissa. Don't know how it keeps breaking.
The Mage Rebellion joins the Inquisition. I've got to admit that's a twist I didn't see coming. One thing you saw in the future worries me. I mean, it was all bad. But Red Lyrium and Ferelden, infecting people out of them, that's bad. Finding more of it really punches a hole in my Red Lyrium at the temple was a coincidence theory.
How long does it take for Red Lyrium to grow? How fast can it spread?
It took years to infect people in Kirkwall, but no one there was actually ingesting the stuff. This Elder One managed to take the worst thing I can think of and make it worse. That's an accomplishment.
The Inquisition has the numbers to track down all this lyrium and destroy it.
I hope so. I don't want to think about what happens if it starts a plague. I've got people trying to find out where the red stuff came from. I think maybe we should make that a priority.
Yeah.
But that's enough doom and gloom. You just won a big victory for the Inquisition. What are you going to do to celebrate?
I was planning to put my feet up, maybe grab a nap. You?
Whatever I do, it'll be as far from Cassandra as I can get. Things should be calm around here for at least the next hour. Take a moment to enjoy it. If the world's about to end, I'm sure the Seeker will let us know.
Shut up.
Tell Mother Giselle this is as much as I can spare.
The mages are ready to approach the breach. I pray this will be enough to close it.
I know you're worried about having the mages here. Give them a chance to prove themselves.
I'm not questioning their ability or their intentions, but we cannot ignore the risks. I will not endanger the alliance you've created. We need their help. Any precautions taken will be to ensure the safety of our people and the mages themselves. Nothing more.
That's all for now.
Should you require anything, I'll be here.
And what are we supposed to do, exactly?
What you always do. Complain.
We've already spoken with Commander Cullen. No one listens. We want better quarters. We want the Templars kept at a distance. And some respect for...
This is not the Circle. You mages are our allies, not our wards. Act like it.
How are we supposed to...
Deal with it. It never ends, evidently.
Is there an issue with the mages? Can I help?
The mages are here as equals. They need to get used to what that means. It is your doing, after all. You created this alliance.
Well, I hope it works. What other choice do we have?
Oh. I do sound like I'm blaming you, don't I? I don't disapprove. In fact, you did well. You made a decision when it needed to be made. And here we are. I wish I could say this was my doing.
You're flattering me.
I'm not. This always happens. Nobody ever takes my meaning.
You should see your face.
I'm thinking less flattering things now. Let's hope the breach has your sense of humor.
Soon.
So, that Tevinter guy sent you into the future?
Every time I think I understand magic, the rules change.
I know, right? If I were a mage, I'd just throw fire at people. That's honest. Anyway, I hope our new friends have what it takes to close the breach. Damn thing gives me a headache just looking at it.
Nice work at Redcliffe. I could help the mages learn to work with Inquisition soldiers if you like.
Yes.
Not that the chief has any apostates in the group.
Can you think of any other tasks suitable for the Chargers?
The Templars have holed up in Thorinfall Redoubt. No idea what's happening inside. I could have some of the boys poke around. If nothing else, we get a better look at the land.
Can we talk about the Bull's Chargers?
Certainly. What can I tell you?
Have you had any other interesting jobs?
Had one noble whose rival had been told by a fortune teller that her death would come on feathered wings. The noble sent us after the rival. Not assassination, legal and everything, but we had to wear feathers. We sewed them into shirts over our armor. Should have seen the chief, all feathered up like the cock of the walk. Ended up retreating after all that. The rival choked to death a year later on a chicken bone.
We'll talk later.
Okay, cool.
Good day.
Oh, you gonna choose a mount? Wow. I can have different mounts. That's cool.
We've gotten a new shipment. You'll have what you need. Good. Your quartermaster's keeping his place running.
There was never going to be an easy answer to the mage dilemma. What you did for the mages took courage. You gave them a chance. Everyone deserves one. I have to ask, what was I like in that dark future you saw?
You fought with honor and died a hero. You did the Wardens proud.
Then I was worth something in the end. Thank you.
What do you think of the Inquisition?
You already know what I think of your forces. I'm not sure what else there is to say.
You must have some feelings about our friends.
Sarah doesn't know who she is or what she wants. And doesn't even care.
We should return to our duties.
As you wish. You are, after all, in charge.
Okay, that's everyone. I need a respect talisman for Iron Bull. And can I craft armor? Okay, what do I need? Do I need tier 2 schematics? Yes, that's tier 2 heavy armor. Okay, I'll check weapons.
You need something, let me know.
It's a tier 2 longsword. It's pretty cool. It's masterwork though. Tier 2 bow. It's not very good. Is that epic one?
You need something, let me know.
Okay, I think that's everything as far as checking on people. Cool.
Oh, make I hear my cry. Seat me by your side.
So, I noticed you crept back to the tent rather late last night.
When there was no sky, Maker, you were the sky. When
Can I talk to
there was
West
no
Wing?
What may I do for you?
What do the people make of us?
Despite our fame, we're low on steadfast allies. We must aim for more.
Any visiting dignitaries I should watch out for?
Lady Drummond promised a visit. She has useful resources if we can get her to set aside her games.
What are her politics?
Oh, no, I meant actual games. Chess, cards, dice, little boards with carved idols from the winter. She made me play that with her for 8 hours once. Steer her towards cards if she insists on a match.
Wow.
Have you kept in touch with our friends in Lady Esterly's estate?
Several bards will play for her tomorrow night. We will have names soon enough.
Investigate Therenfall Redoubt. This is the one that Krem just sent me. Okay, the Templars at Therenfall Redoubt went quiet while the Inquisition dealt with Redcliffe. I'd be happy to take the charters out to investigate the area. Oh, okay, so this is what this is... Okay, Krem will be able to check out what happened at the Templar place that I didn't choose. I don't want to send... I guess I could send Cullen. Liliana says this calls for a light touch. My scouts can make a distraction, leaving the charters sneaking close. But Cullen says I can send the charters in with Inquisition troops bolstered. No, just send soldiers.
All right.
This is a soldier thing. Commander Cullen, I understand the Inquisition is working with Redcliffe's mages. I'm surprised someone from Kirkwall would condone any arrangement with them, but it does put you in a position to aid us. Hasmal's circle sustained significant damage during the uprising. Rather than follow the Lord Seeker, many of our Templars elected to remain and deal with the aftermath, but our resources are limited. Furthermore, we have loyalist mages with us. Hasmal's people would happily throw them to the wolves, even though they had nothing to do with the rebellion. This stands at fear we may fail our duty to protect them. I trust you sympathize with our predicament. I humbly request our charges be transferred to the Inquisition. Okay, Cullen's busy. Josephine, we can arrange safe passage from Hasmal and let the city's leaders believe they owe us a favor. Yep.
Let us begin.
Westway. Okay. Ally from Starkhaven. Sebastian. The Inquisition has received a missive from Starkhaven. Most cordial greetings. My name is Sebastian Vale, sole heir of the Vale Princess of Starkhaven. I recently retook the throne of this great city from those who sought to gain it through unjust means. As the most devoted adherent of the Chantry, I felt the loss of most holy Justinia V keenly. I too hoped for a resolution to the terrible conflict that claimed the lives of hundreds in Kirkwall and now threatens to claim all of Thedas. I extend Starkhaven's hand in friendship to the Inquisition. Together let us right the wrongs visited upon our world. Okay, so who would I send? I probably had to send Westwing to that, but she's busy. We'll come back to that. What's this? Join forces with your new allies to assault the heart of the breach and close it. Oh, okay. What's going on in Orlais? Oh, Layli. Sister Leliana, my thanks for the timely information regarding the threat to young Minette. I am sure you have heard Lady Carolina has been disgraced as a result of making such an undignified attack on a young lady and has retired to the country in shame. The young Duchess herself is quite aware that she has you to thank for her position, and she has pledged the city of Leeds to the Inquisition's cause. Here's a gratitude, Mother Annette. Awesome. Good job, Layli. Okay. Truce of Dare, Lake Celestine. This region between Lake Celestine and the shores of the waking seas known as the Heartlands. A place of vineyards and gilded marble estates the locals refer to as cottages. It's said that Orlais's heart is plated with gold, and so it seems fitting that the Heartlands are perhaps the richest place outside of Valrio. Notice right at the bottom of the page, Comte de Maurier and Marquis Contenau, both spending money like water, which to pursue. Okay, had to go for a little bit? Okay. I don't know the difference between these two. Definitely sounds like a Josephine. Dang, I should go with Josephine. University of Orlais. To the leaders of the Inquisition, the death of so many good souls to the Temple's sacred ashes is a tragedy, compounded by the frenzy of posturing that has taken place in the race for divine Justinian's successor, which all too frequently uses the University of Orlais as a scapegoat for ills perceived or real. Considering your recent cowing of these clerics, the university is hoping you might see your way to protecting us from the rhetoric, so the partnership could be beneficial for us both. We have research, magical as well as mundane, that we'd be pleased to share in exchange for aid in these trying times. Okay. Send bodyguards. Diplomacy. We can arm the university with what they like best, information. Give them ammunition against anyone who speaks against them. The attacks will cease. Sure.
Let's see what we have.
It's gonna take a few hours. Advance the plot. Were there any side missions I needed to do? Upgrade. Oh, level 12, damn. Not an upgrade. Okay. Cass. Let's check Blackwall since I'm using him. Nice. Might as well just check everyone's weapons over here. Staff of Stasis. Should give that to Dorian. Oh, it's a downgrade? chance to resurrect undying. That's hilarious. I guess I'll just give that to, Vivian? What's this? A dagger. Okay, where's, Sarah? Need daggers, girl. There you go. Okay, we're good. I guess accessories. Cast, you need an amulet. We don't have any extra amulets. Okay, level 10, not bad. Okay, let's respec Iron Bowl. Two-handed weapons. Side quests.
Did you see the message I sent?
Yes, thank you.
I hope it doesn't bother you to travel alongside a Vint, Iron Bull.
That what you are? You people all kinda look the same to me.
I'm also a mage. Would you prefer me bound and leashed?
I'd buy you dinner first.
Hopefully before you sewed my mouth shut.
Depends how much you keep yapping.
God damn it. Oh my god, seriously? This one across the thingy. If I can't companions are just gonna fuck out of my way. I've done this before. Oh my god. What's the actual way you're supposed to do that? There we go. What am I looking for?
Let's take a look.
Ping, ping, ping. Ping, ping, ping. Maps of the deep.
I think the Inquisition could benefit from this.
Nice. Something else here? Something else here? What is it? There's a ladder there. How do I get there? Rock armor recipe. It's an epic recipe. Oh, did that seriously make my influence go up level 5? Wow. Forget